137 missiles, 209 drones, the $500 million radar Iran just destroyed. And CENTCOM said minimal. There's a military base 32 kilometers south of Abu Dhabi with 2 parallel runways, each measuring 12,011 feet. It has operated continuously since January 25th, 2002, every single day for over 2 decades. The U-2 Dragon Lady surveillance planes that photograph Iran's nuclear sites fly from its runways. The MQ-9 Reaper drones that track IRGC movements across Iraq and Syria launch from its tarmac. The aerial refueling tankers that keep American warplanes in the air over every active theater in the Middle East take off and land at this base every 90 minutes. The 380th Air Expeditionary Wing, the U.S. Air Force's primary hub for regional surveillance and strike coordination, is headquartered here. The UAE's own THAAD missile defense battery, the only one outside American hands in the Middle East, stands guard over it. The base is called Al-Dhafra. And on February 28, 2026, Iran aimed 137 ballistic missiles and 209 drones directly at it. That number is not an estimate. It is the figure confirmed by the Long War Journal, cross-referenced against IRGC-affiliated Tasnim news agency's own strike claims, and consistent with the UAE Ministry of Defence's cumulative accounting. 137 ballistic missiles, 209 drones, directed at a single country on a single day. The largest volume of fire Iran has directed at any Gulf state in a single operational period in modern history. And after the intercepts ran, after the fires were counted, after the dead were identified, U.S. Central Command released a statement that said, damage to U.S. installations was minimal and has not impacted operations. Damage was minimal. Operations were not impacted. This script is about the distance between that sentence and the documented reality, because that distance is where the actual war lives, and where Iran's military planners are doing the math that determines what happens next. Here is what Al-Dhafra Air Base actually is, not the press release version. The operational reality that makes it the single most consequential American military installation in the Persian Gulf, and the reason Iran spent 137 ballistic missiles trying to reach it in one night. Al-Dhafra hosts the United States Air Force's 380th Air Expeditionary Wing, established at the base in January 2002, as well as various expeditionary fighter squadrons operating F-15C, F-15E, F-22 Raptor, and F-35A Lightning II aircraft, alongside the 99th Expeditionary Reconnaissance Squadron flying the U-2 Dragon Lady. Al Jazeera. The U-2 Dragon Lady is not a combat aircraft. It is an intelligence collection platform that flies at altitudes above 70,000 feet, above the operational ceiling of most surface-to-air missiles, photographing and signals monitoring targets across a 3,000-kilometer radius. When American intelligence analysts brief the National Security Council on the current status of Iran's nuclear enrichment program, the imagery they present comes, in substantial part, from U-2 flights that originate at Al-Dhafra. The IRGC knows this. It has known it for years. The reconnaissance aircraft that watched Iran's nuclear facilities being built, that tracked IRGC missile deployments, that photographed the specific hardened silos whose coordinates were loaded into American and Israeli strike packages on February 28th, those aircraft live at Al-Dhafra. Destroying Al-Dhafra does not just disrupt American air operations in the Gulf, it blinds the surveillance architecture that made the strikes on Iran possible in the first place. The base was previously targeted by the Houthis in January 2022. An Emirati THAAD intercepted a mid-range ballistic missile on January 17th, marking the system's first known use in a military operation. Al Jazeera. That sentence contains the most important historical precedent in the entire February 28th attack. The UAE's THAAD battery at Al-Dhafra has been combat tested before. Its January 17, 2022 intercept of a Houthi ballistic missile was not a training exercise. It was the first operational use of a THAAD system anywhere on Earth outside the United States. The system worked. The missile was destroyed. And the fact that it worked in 2022 against a Houthi weapon is precisely what Iran's planners spent the intervening 4 years studying, because THAAD's Achilles heel is not its interceptor. It is its radar. The ANTPY-2 radar is the reason a THAAD battery can function. It is not a secondary component. It is the system's entire nervous system. The radar system for THAAD is the ANTPY-2 transportable radar, manufactured by Raytheon. According to a 2025 Missile Defense Agency budget, it costs just shy of $500 million. Wikipedia, $500 million, split across 5 40-foot trailers. A high-resolution X-band phased array radar capable of detecting ballistic missiles at ranges between 870 and 3,000 kilometers. Without it, the THAAD battery cannot detect incoming threats early enough to compute intercept solutions. Without it, the interceptors are blind. The AN/TPY-2 radar is essentially the heart of the THAAD battery, enabling the launch of interceptor missiles and contributing to a networked air defense picture. Wikipedia weapons analyst N.R. Jensen Jones told CNN, "The loss of even a single radar of this type would be an operationally significant event. It is probable that a replacement unit would have to be redeployed from elsewhere, which will take time and effort." Wikipedia Iran destroyed one. An investigation by CNN confirmed that an Iranian missile attack destroyed a United States AN/TPY-2 radar at Muwafaq Salti Air Base in Jordan. Satellite imagery released following the strike showed a pair of 13-foot craters in the sand near the radar, suggesting multiple attempts to hit the system. FDD's Long War Journal. The destruction of the AN/TPY-2 radar represents a significant operational challenge for the United States, because only 8 THAAD batteries currently exist within the U.S. inventory worldwide. FDD's Long War Journal, 8 batteries, globally. The entire American THAAD arsenal consists of 8 batteries, distributed between South Korea, Guam, the Gulf, and the continental United States. Iran targeted the radar in Jordan. Satellite imagery and multiple defense analysts confirmed damage to radar infrastructure linked to Al-Dhafra as well. Iran's destruction of the AN/TPY-2 and the AN/FPS-132 radars has eliminated the early warning capability of the U.S. military in the region. Atlantic Council, according to former CIA officer Larry C. Johnson, writing in a post-strike assessment on March 6th. CENTCOM said damage to U.S. installations was minimal. The AN/TPY-2 radar, a $500 million piece of equipment that is the nervous system of America's primary ballistic missile defense system in the Gulf, was destroyed. Those two statements exist simultaneously. They are both, in their own framing, defensible. They are not, together, the complete picture. The UAE Ministry of Defence's official spokesperson, Brigadier General Staff Pilot Abdul Nasser Al-Humaidi, presented operational updates at a press briefing in Abu Dhabi on March 3, 2026, displaying remnants of intercepted Iranian weapons, including fragments identified as parts of a Qiyam ballistic missile, a Pave cruise missile, and several unmanned aerial systems from the Shahed drone family, including the Shahed 136, Shahed 107, and Shahed 238. Geopolitical Monitor Brigadier General Al-Humaidi showed the hardware. He showed the physical evidence of what Iran fired. 3 drone variants, 2 missile types, confirmed by fragments on a table at a military press briefing. This is not speculation or satellite imagery interpretation. This is debris collected from Emirati soil, identified by type and manufacturer, displayed publicly by the UAE's own military, and understanding what those weapons cost, specifically the Shahed 136, is the key to understanding why the 90% intercept rate is not the reassurance CENTCOM's statement implies. A Shahed 136 drone costs approximately $20,000 to manufacture. A Patriot PX-3 MSE interceptor, the standard weapon used to destroy ballistic missiles at medium altitude, costs approximately $4 million per round. A THAAD interceptor costs approximately $11 million. This means that every time a UAE or American Patriot battery fires to destroy a $20,000 Shahed, it expends 200 times the drone's cost to eliminate it. Iran does not need to win the air defense battle. Iran needs to drain the magazine. Iran's campaign demonstrates a coordinated operational approach aimed at stressing regional defense systems through multi-theater engagements, control risks according to defense analysis from the Alma Research Center. The doctrine is not defeat by breakthrough. It is defeat by depletion. A THAAD battery holds 48 interceptors. The UAE operates 2 THAAD batteries. That is 96 THAAD interceptors, standing between Al-Dhafra and Iran's ballistic missile arsenal. On February 28th alone, Iran fired 137 ballistic missiles at the UAE. If the intercept rate held at 90%, the 2 THAAD batteries fired approximately 88 interceptors in one night, consuming 92% of the UAE's entire THAAD magazine in a single operational day. Resupply is a logistics challenge that requires weeks, not days, for a weapon system of this complexity. Iran, by contrast, had pre-positioned warheads near regional borders in anticipation of this scenario, suggesting the broader escalation was planned, not improvised. Global military now hears what the 10% actually produced, because the 10% is where the actual story lives, and the actual story is not minimal. Debris from an intercepted missile ignited fires at Jebel Ali port, temporarily disrupting operations at one of the region's most critical commercial hubs. Wikipedia Jebel Ali is not a secondary logistics node. DP World said operations at Jebel Ali port in Dubai, one of the world's busiest container ports, had been suspended due to a fire after aerial interception, the Financial Times reported. India blooms suspended, not slowed, suspended. Jebel Ali is the largest man-made harbor in the Middle East. Its container throughput connects Asian manufacturing to European consumption. When Jebel Ali suspends operations, the disruption does not stay in Dubai. It propagates through global supply chains within 48 hours. And this suspension came not from a direct missile strike. It came from debris falling from a missile that was successfully intercepted. The shield, when it functions perfectly, still damages the city beneath it. That is not a failure of the defense. It is the arithmetic of defending a dense urban environment from a mass salvo. A Shahed-type drone reportedly struck near the Fairmont The Palm Hotel on Palm Jumeirah, causing a large explosion and fire. 4 individuals were injured, primarily from debris and blast effects. Xero Media The Fairmont, The Palm. Not a military installation, not a fuel depot. One of the most photographed hotels in the world, on a man-made island in the shape of a palm tree built in the Persian Gulf. The footage of fire at the Fairmont circulated on every social media platform within minutes of the strike. It was watched simultaneously by financial traders in London pricing oil futures, insurance underwriters at Lloyd's of London adjusting war risk premiums, and every Gulf government privately recalculating the assumptions underlying its security relationship with Washington. A fire also broke out at the Jebel Ali port, which was attributed by the Dubai government to debris from aerial interception of an Iranian attack. French Naval Air Base, Camp de la Paix, near Zayed Port in Abu Dhabi, was also struck by drones. AWS reported that at 4:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, one of its data centers in the UAE was on fire after being struck by objects, and the power was then shut down. Xero Media, an Amazon Web Services data center, on fire in Abu Dhabi. AWS operates one of the largest cloud computing regions in the Middle East from UAE territory. The companies and governments whose digital infrastructure runs on AWS UAE infrastructure experienced service disruptions that night. Disruptions reported in AWS's own public status dashboard attributed obliquely to localized power issues, with no mention of an Iranian drone strike.